Alright, so I might have to build my vocal cords up ready for this, but what's going on, YouTube? It's James with ChiHammer Fantasy Battle Reports coming together with another battle report for you today. I don't even know what number this is. I'm going to have to go through my previous videos and see what number did I stop at. But how are you doing, the internet and ninth age community, my little niche crowd that actually will get this on their feed that pops up, ChiHammer's new video. Anyways, guys, it's been a very long 2 years. There's a lot to catch up on, and I do have a battle report for you today with my Orcs and Goblins against Luke Nichols, Warriors of the Blue Gods. Anyways, let me catch you up a little bit. What's been going on with me for the last 2 years? Let's start off with this picture right here. You guys may have seen this before. My gym was right underneath that fire. It caught on my gym that I own. I am a personal trainer. I have a personal training studio. It's a private location, just kind of one-on-one training. It caught on fire upstairs. The fire damage really didn't ruin much of my stuff, but the smell and the smoke and the smog and all that crap was staining on my stuff. Couldn't get out of it for a while. And as soon as the pandemic hit, the big O COVID, I decided to stop paying rent. This guy would not, the landlord would not update the place. He wanted to condemn it and basically tear it down and make some condominiums. So I stopped paying rent, and in the meantime, I decided to look into a new location. I ended up getting a new location with a partner. My partner, Stefan, he's a great guy, and I cannot believe, I would not have my gym if it wasn't for this guy right here. Now, here's a couple pictures for you to show you the location that we were looking at. We were looking at this torn down location that had a full-on basement of a church. It used to be what would be considered handball courts or racquetball courts, but basically we turned it into a full-service gym. I will show you some before pictures, and you know what, might as well go through that really quick. For those of you who have never ever moved a gym before, which I'm assuming is the vast majority of you, it fucking sucks. It fucking sucks so bad, alright? Think of the hardest workout you have ever had. And granted, I work out for a living. I have hard workouts. This sucked. This sucks so bad that I can't even compare it. My business partner, he used to do college football, and he used to get twice-a-day workouts in drills, and he said that didn't even compare to this, because moving the location in the gym was ridiculously hard. We have a 9-foot wall that we had to carry each piece of equipment over the wall to get it down, and this drop, because the stairs were so small. And not only that, we're doing it during Corona times. It is ridiculous. We broke several of the mirrors on the move, and you know what? We live and learn, and just kind of had to go on with it. We got to roll with the punches, right? Besides that, you know, it was a great experience. I got my nephews helping me with the move. Out of any time that I needed family to be there, I'm so happy that my nephews were there, because they stayed with me all week doing this. This is a pretty freaking ridiculous move. But you know what? Now that it's said and done, I am extremely happy that I'm in this location. The location is beautiful. It actually has a basketball court upstairs. You know, after weeks and months of putting shit together and you know, doing everything bit by bit, I gotta say that it's 2 years later that my vision is coming true there. Yeah, I'm still in the process of buying new equipment. I'm still in the process of updating. Every chance I get a chance to look at something and want to fix it, update it, or do whatever, I just do. I just do. I don't really, you know, think about it. But you guys didn't come here to see my gym. You guys came here to see the battle reports. Anyways, continuing on with what's going on with ChiHammer. Since this is my first video back in God knows how long, there's a couple things we got to talk about. Number one is miniatures. I used to have a vast love for Games Workshop miniatures to begin with, but I also used to love looking out for these random other miniatures, Rackham, Kings of War, Avatars of War, miniatures, anything that I could find that I just thought looked amazing, looked great. I used to love having this idea that I could convert it. I could chop off a hand, a head, a body piece, a weapon, and just put it all together and just mix and mash and bit bash my miniatures. Right? Well, Games Workshop decided that not to do that anymore. They basically create the miniature so you have to crack them in like weird angles, and it would never really work for bit bashing. Okay, that sucks. It kind of took a little bit of my enjoyment out of what I enjoy to do in the hobby, right? Well, everybody has 3D printers now, and everybody and their mothers are creating their own miniature market. What happens to me now is there's an abundance overload. I see all these miniatures, and yeah, they may look cool, but to me, it doesn't look as, not that it doesn't look as impressive. How do I put this? It's a scenario where if everybody's special, no one is. You know what I mean? It's a scenario where um, it's there's my, not that I ever wanted my army to look like everybody else's, and not that I want anybody's army to look like anybody else's, but at the same token, it looks like no matter what I get, it doesn't really matter at this point because there's just so much out there. And if I think I get this cool looking goblin model on a chariot, next week there's going to be somebody else creating another cool ass goblin model, and it has overloaded my my creativity, really overloaded. Um, and so that's one of the things that has detracted me in the last 2 years to want to even paint a model. On top of that, I have the daunting task of trying to paint a huge army that I've actually got through a good chunk of it, to be fair, of John 653's Canadian vampire army here. And he'll be glad to hear that when I next see him, that I will be handing over a vast majority of it. But it did put me on the back burner a bit, where I would look at the models sitting on my desk and I'm like, God, there's so many, and it wouldn't make me want to pick up a paintbrush. It would do the exact opposite. Oh, here's another skeleton. Um, on top of all that, sorry, again, I'm sorry, guys. It's a very long intro. You guys can skip ahead if you want to just watch the battle report, but I'm letting you guys know. I know that I checked the forums recently, and I know that there's a lot of people who actually miss my content, and a portion of me does miss giving you that content, and a lot of it's what I'm telling you right now has been the reason why I've dragged for so long. Going on to the next subject, my poor Frosty. Oh man, it hits me still. Um, but my dog got cancer. She passed away in 2021 in August, and yeah, that it hit me really hard. She was too young. She didn't deserve it. Um, and I haven't even got another dog. I literally have been just sitting at home with no dogless. Every so often I open the door and I expect to hear her, and yeah, she ain't there. Um, I did play, for the record. I did actually take pictures that I was going to do for a battle report, and I never did it. It was a team tournament, and I actually ended up winning the team tournament with Len. Again, this is towards, I think it was the summer last year, 2021. But to let you guys know, um, I was tricked. I was tricked into coming into this tournament. My brother, who's like, "Hey, look, I know it's been over a year. You haven't played. Why don't we get some games in with Fergus on the south side at Fergus's house? He built some new tables. He has a nice basement. Let's go check it out. Let's have fun." And I'm thinking to myself, you know what? This sounds perfect. This sounds exactly like the game I want to get into right now. Okay? I have spent the last 5 years giving you guys a catalog of videos from tournament after tournament after tournament after tournament. I've traveled from Chicago to Indiana to Ohio to California to Virginia to Timbuktu, basically. I've traveled to ETC across the country. I've played people coming over here to play me, and I've been playing everybody under the sun. And more or less what ended up happening is I burned myself out. I burned myself out drastically, where I'm doing tournaments, and there's this level of expectations of what a ChiHammer game should be. There's a level of expectations of what I believe myself I should be, right? And that level of expectation has been just so daunting. It's been so draining. And so, you know, COVID happens. I take a break. I'm dealing with my dying dog. I'm dealing with staying with my parents for the whole time, and I want to get back to. I don't want to drop the game. I don't want to drop the hobby. I don't want to just be like, peace out. I'm done. Fuck you guys. I'm gonna move to, um, Germany or some shit. I literally am trying to get back into the hobby. And the way to do that is to go back into the fundamentals. What did I enjoy? Why was I passionate about this? Why did I give you enthusiastic battle reports? Why did I do battle reports to begin with? All right. And for those of you who don't know, because it's been a long time since I've started the battle reports, I started the battle reports. I called myself ChiHammer Fantasy to find people in the area of Chicago who wanted to play this game because I just enjoyed playing the game, right? So this sounded to me, when my brother said Fergus is running a tournament, it sounded to me like, you know what? Let's have or not a tournament. I'm sorry. Fergus wants to play some games for a tag team. This sounded like, let me get back into the fundamentals of playing. Let me play with my brother, the person who I started playing this game with, and let me get back into it. And as soon as I'm coming in thinking, yes, I'm going to go ahead and play a fun game, and this will be the way, just roll some dice, have some fun, talk some stories, eat some junk food, let's do it. Fergus drops the bomb on me. It's a tag team tournament. We're going to have X amount of games. We're going to have this rules, that rules, and all these other rules. And James and Jesse, since you guys are related, we're splitting up the team, and I'm going to give you another teammate. And I'm over here thinking, man, I just want to go in and learn wax on, wax off, when Fergus is over here having me fight Johnny Lawrence in the first fucking round. And I'm over here like, what the fuck? This is not what I wanted to do. I did not come here to play a tournament. I literally wanted to come here and just have some fun. And granted, it's supposed to just go, regress to that, like, oh yeah, that's what we're doing, rolling dice and having fun. But no, it was this level of expectation, level of play. And I actually demanded I got Len as the teammate. He was like, oh, we could give you Len, or we could give you somebody else. I'm like, no, just give me fucking Len, dude. Give me Len, because at least I could tell Len, I haven't fucking touched the dice. I don't remember all the rules. I don't know what's going on. So Len kind of carried the team. As much as I would love to say I carried the team, Len carried the team, and we won the damn tag team tournament. And honestly, like I said, if I were to give you that battle report, I don't even remember half the shit that happened because I didn't really play the game. I let Len play. All right. Not done yet, guys. I know it's been almost 13 to 15 minutes of this video, and you guys still haven't seen a single dice roll here yet. This is my father. This is my dad, Jesse Silva. Some of you actually met him in Spain or England when I met you guys. Some of you for the first time. And he is not doing well. He has stage 5 kidney failure. He has been diabetic his whole life. This is a picture of him in probably 91, 92-ish time. But he used to own this baseball card shop. Here's a picture of the shop. There's him in the back corner. Anyways, he literally is the person who got me into comic books, nerd culture, because the comic book shop is actually behind where he is standing in this picture. The comic book portion of the shop, I should say. Anyways, he is not doing so well. He got his foot chopped off due to diabetes. For those of you who are listening to this video and have diabetes and suffer with diabetes, I hope this is a wake-up call. Don't get your foot chopped off. But, he's having a hard time, and it's been really rough on the family. So, just to let you know, I go ahead and I tell this to Luke. I have not seen Luke in 2 years, since pre-COVID times. And he says, man, I haven't seen you in 2 years. How have you been? And I tell him all this. And he goes, are you depressed? And the answer is, no, I am not depressed. Things make me sad, but I am not depressed. All right. These are actually some of his Age of Sigmar models. These are my dad's. I decided that to just adopt them because he probably will never touch a paintbrush again. So, off the depressing stuff, going on to the 15-minute mark. I will make sure to let you guys know you can skip ahead the video. But I finally got back to the Dice Dojo, and the Dice Dojo was also closed during Corona, of course, which made me not want to play any games because there was nobody in the area to play games with. I kind of avoided playing online, and that being said, this is kind of my, crack the knuckles, wipe the rust off, dust off the models, and honestly, some of the models are broken in this video, and I didn't even remember they were broken. But now that I do remember. Anyways, moving forward, I finally got to the Dice Dojo. They finally set up the basement. The owners were so happy to see me. Lex and JP are great owners of this shop. They are just so cool. They are so down to earth. They were talking to me about just being in. Lex kind of gave me this whole speech about being passionate about one game and then getting into another game and then trying to find the passion back in the first game that you used to play. And I kind of needed to hear it. You know what I mean? I kind of needed to know that A, I'm not alone in this, and B, it's, just finding the passion again, So I got a game at the Dice Dojo against Luke Nickel. Now, I'm going to tell you guys right now, don't expect a fucking masterpiece of a battle report. I don't fucking remember half the names and terminology. I don't remember. You know what? I'm ChiHammer. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. Alright? So, let's start off with my army. I basically just chose what I brought to Masters in 2020, in February 2020, because I figured at least this was the last thing I played. I should remember most of it. Okay, so I got my Forest Goblin Creepers there with the Bushwhackers. I do have my BSB in there with the Mazazappa Bow. I do have my Pyromancy Wizard up in that unit as well. I have 2 units of Common Goblins with bows and shields. I have my Forest Goblins, Spider Riders, and I have a unit of Trolls. Cave Trolls, 8 of them to be exact. Over here I got my Savage Orc Edbashers, Feral Orc Edbashers, excuse me, with the Mammoth Stabba. I do have the Fight Next Rank banner. I do have my K-Pack. The K-Pack has seen better days. Honestly, I may retire the K-Pack as the miniature soon and probably get new Goblin Chariots, just due to the fact that these guys have been beaten up in travel, taking them overseas several times. It's just brutal to these guys. I do have General Zod, and Zod is the one thing that's changed. I mean, there's plenty of things that has changed, and I don't know all the rules. I don't remember fucking a quarter of the fucking rules, to be fair. My brain hasn't been there. But one of the things that did change was the Crown of Autocracy is no longer Leadership 10 in my army, which may or may not be a huge deal. I think it will be a huge deal in the long run. Trolls fail Stupidity, Savage Orcs fail Frenzy. All that shit will happen more often just due to the fact that the Crown of Autocracy is now 1 leadership pip down. I know for a fact I have lost a game against Chris Mintz at, I want to say it was Strength in Numbers many moons ago, 2016, 15, I don't remember, 17, and it was just because that 1 pip. I hit a leadership 9 when it should have been a leadership 10. Over here, I got Koopa and the A-Rock. The A-Rock, again, has seen better days. I didn't realize many of the miniatures were kind of falling apart by the time I opened them up 2 years later. As for my opponent, Luke Nickel, we have a unit of warriors with halberds. We have a unit of man, what are these guys called? I don't even know what they're called, but they're the freaking Chaos Knights with the juggernauts that they're riding upon. The character in the middle is basically a lord, a Chaos Lord. He has the Kingslayer sword. He has, I want to say, a 5-up ward. I could be wrong about that, but basically, he's going to go, no matter who he fights in my army, if he goes first, he's going to basically knock the shit out of me and kill me. So I'm already looking at that like I don't even want to touch that unit with a 10-foot pole. He has a Chaos Wizard on a disc. He has 2 units of Hounds, and he has a unit of actual Chaos Knights on horses with lances. Besides that, he has 2 chariots over on this side, and then he has a unit of Chosen. Each one of these Chosen have 2 wounds apiece. They have great weapons, but they are striking first with that first strike ability. I forgot what it's called. Here's a picture of Luke Nickel. We're going to go ahead and roll off. And again, this is where it gets to the point where I'm just like, I don't even remember what deployment and what scenario. I'm trying to remember. He rolls a 6 on the scenario, and I go, I have feeling like I just pulled out instinctually 2 tokens, and I'm like, I have a feeling it has something do with tokens. And he was like, yes. I don't remember, man. I'm telling you. So, anyways, we got the 2 points. We got to go ahead and take them over by the end of the game at the end of round 6. Um, we go ahead and deploy classic just to kind of start there. I go ahead and I move the A-Rock off to the flank on the left. You can't even see it in this photo. I got Koopa sideways thinking like, haha, I'm going to sneak in 2 inches of movement. I go ahead and I put my scouts out in the middle of the board to show him I still have to scout. As he deploys, he leaves me the gap on the flank, which kind of cost him in a minute. This is how he deploys. There's a building right in the center of our battlefield, and that building does play a huge role in A, line of sight, and B, in this kind of convoluted setup. Basically, how do we set up to get the objective when there's a big ass building in the middle? You basically have to split up your army, right? I put trolls on one side, savage orcs on the other. I overloaded one side with the spiders while he overloaded the side against my trolls. But I do have the K-Pack on that flank. Normally, and again, this is something I had to get back to used to, is I'm not even used to deploying. I don't remember. I try to look at one of my old videos to see how I deployed. In that video, I deployed funky on some other reason, so I was just like, ugh, I don't remember this. Anyways, we're going to get underway very soon. I go ahead and put my scouts off to the flank like I said I would, and we're going to go ahead into turn 1, Orcs and Goblins. I took the first turn because I deployed everything as fast as I possibly fucking could. I go ahead and I move up very minimal. I ended up doing something very slick with the K-Pack on the flank. I moved them back, but I made sure I gave them enough space to see the front line of arc over the goblins. But when I charge, I could charge past them, then make the wheel. So that's something I did with the K-Pack. The trolls move up because the trolls really don't give a fuck. My general is in a very safe spot. He's kind of bunkered behind this building, just kind of giving out my leadership bubble in that section. And the Savage Orcs kind of just creep up. I don't want to give Koopa. I don't want him to charge Koopa with his chariots, so I kind of stayed out of his charge range, but also I'm kind of tempting him to come forward if he does. He has Koopa and the A-Rock to worry about. The A-Rock I actually kept back for one turn. I gave her the web launcher. I'm going to use the web launcher. It doesn't, hoping that I could potentially hurt his unit of warriors there, but we'll see. As for magic, we're going to go ahead and get a 6 on the Veil. And as soon as I go ahead and I roll this, or I pull this card, he made me realize I don't know shit about magic anymore. I remember the Veil tokens. I remember how to get my extra token for the channel. Pyromancy has changed. Didn't know Pyromancy changed. Just found that out today. But I'm going to go ahead and I do a Scorching Salvo. When I do the Scorching Salvo, I don't think I even killed anybody, but I'm trying to use that level 5 attribute spell. And it didn't really do anything. I go ahead and I give this unit Flaming Swords. I kind of had second thoughts about this, but it didn't really do much. I gave them Flaming Swords. That's what happened. Over here, I'm going to go ahead and take some pot shots with my bows from the K-Pack onto this unit of Knights, because what the fuck else was I going to do, right? I get a lucky shot, a lucky wound, and he fails the armor save. And it literally demoralizes him. Like, he needed the whole back row, and now without that back row, he's a little worried about taking a K-Pack charge. He's like, oh shit, I don't want to get charged. Over here, I'm going to go ahead and shoot these guys into his unit of hounds with the Flaming Swords, and I just wipe out the hounds. And you can see my unit of Spider Riders in the back there. They're going to go ahead and try to shoot into his chariot. They do, and they end up doing 1 wound, which was actually surprising. It's going to go ahead and go into turn 1. Warriors of the Blue Gods. Warriors of the Blue Gods, he goes ahead and he starts making some moves. He's like, this is what I was going to do. I'm just going to follow through with it. So he moves his dogs, his hounds. He releases the hounds as they go right into the face of the trolls, basically giving me a flank. As he does that, he goes ahead and he moves his knights in such a way where if I go ahead and I charge with the K-Pack, he may or may not be able to handle the impact. He's a little bit more timid about it, and he moves his Chosen closer. What he doesn't know that I know is that I wasn't even going to charge the Knights. I could still see the Chosen from this angle, and I could still wheel past my Goblins, and there's enough room between the Goblins and the Knights to get into that unit of Chosen. As for his magic, he pulls a 4 card. I'm looking at him upside down, so if I say the number backwards, I'm sorry. And he goes ahead and he buffs this unit. This unit kind of, let me go back to this picture over here. This unit, he kind of moved in front as fast as possible in front of my bunker, my goblin commandos, at the bushwhackers, because he figured I'm pretty sure he thought this. He's like, it's his wizard, it's his BSB, and basically there's only so much room they could move, right? So basically he's scaring me off that front line, and if not, he got my savages as a, either way it's going to be good. He's protected on his flank because the dogs are watching the trolls, so I don't think he expected what happens next. He buffs up this unit, and I'm looking at him buffed up the unit, and I'm like, go ahead and buff him. Go ahead and buff him. Let him use all his dice on that buff on that unit, because I'm okay with it, right? And this is basically how it looks at the end of his turn. We're going to start off turn 2, Orcs and Goblins. Orcs and Goblins turn 2. I do charge in with the Trolls. I do charge the K-Pack past his unit into that Chosen unit, and they connect. Boom! Over here, what I do is I go ahead and I use my triple march banner, and I march the commandos forward, basically allowing him to charge with that unit, only that unit of commandos, right? I go ahead and I pass a leadership 5 march check with the spiders. Go figure. And I move the spiders in front of that unit right there. And basically what I'm doing is I'm forcing him, if he charges into the commandos, which he will, if he hits and he overruns, it doesn't matter how far he overruns, he won't be able to hit anything. I did make a mistake here. I made 2 mistakes here. Okay, number 1 was a movement mistake. I caught it after the fact. Is I moved the Pyromancer in a spot that's an illegal spot. The Pyromancer would have to have exited the unit and get out of the template of where the commandos originally stood. I accidentally left it where it was. As for Bazooka, Bazooka is actually an illegal spot, but then also my general, the other mistake was I moved the general from behind the building, looking at his unit of Chaos Knights, whatever they're called, the Juggernauts, but his general could actually charge out of the unit. I forgot about that, but we'll see what he does. Yeah, that's how it looks right now. We're going to go into Magic. Magic, I get a 1 on the Flux, and I think I just failed my magic. I think nothing really happened. Again, I'm using Pyromancy, and I just kind of flub it all. Going to go into shooting. I go ahead and I shoot Koopa into this unit, and I end up getting 1 wound off. I think I tried to shoot the web launcher. I fucking failed that. You know what, though? I shot the web launcher, and I forgot that I get 2 rolls on it, isn't it? I think, no. How does that work? I forgot how it works. If I shoot, I think it's just 1 dice and I fail, or there's something if I didn't get like the full template on. I forget. Anyways, I'll look that up after this game. Yeah. So the K-Pack. K-Pack ends up rolling 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 impact hits. Yeah. 16 impact hits. Boom! I go in and I wipe out about, I want to say 11 wounds or 9 wounds. I want to say it was 9 wounds out of that. I kind of flubbed a lot of 1s and 2s. He did make a couple armor saves, so it looks like 9 wounds. He goes back and he rips apart my K-Pack. I win combat by 1 point, or it was a tie. I think it basically just was the fact that he had a banner. I had a charge. But it was basically, we had a standstill. I was actually worried the other would happen. I was worried that I charged, even though I kill a bunch, he just wipes me out. Or he did like 1 more wound, and there's no way I'm going to pass like a leadership 5 check and I run away. But it's perfect that it was a standstill. I'm happy that it was a standstill. I go ahead and I reform the chariot to the other side, like so. As for these trolls on the hounds, trolls just eat the hounds. I didn't even think I left 1 remaining. The goblins, this is something I did in my movement phase, was I did a reform facing the knights, and I walked the goblins straight forward into the knights, so that way the trolls are protected from that flank. I'm going to give him a unit of goblins. Let's start off turn 2, Warriors of the Dark Gods. Warriors of the Dark Gods. He's in a situation where, as you can see, this is kind of how it looks. He's going to have to charge the goblins. He's going to have to charge the goblins. He's going to have to charge the goblins. And he does. Boom, 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 boom. All right. He's a little annoyed at the scenario. After he did the charges, he realizes, shit, the orcs are reformed to look at his flank or rear if he stays there. And he's like, motherfucker, right? Magic, he gets the good magic phase. He gets an 8, and he goes ahead and he gives this unit Ancestral Aid. He goes ahead, he tried to do like a snipe spell onto Koopa. I didn't allow it, and then he tried to do a snipe spell onto my Goblin Wizard, and I think I did allow that. He does 1 wound onto the Goblin Wizard, or the BSB. I think it was the BSB. These guys destroy my Bushwhackers, and as they destroy my Bushwhackers, he's figuring, I think he's figuring if he gets like a 7 through 10 on the overrun, or the 7 through 9 on the overrun, he would be in a favorable position. He rolls the overrun. He rolls a 12, and the 12 makes him boom pass this way, and he ends up giving me the flank of his unit with my Savage Orcs. Over here, he's going to go ahead and kill off my Spider Riders, and we're going to go into turn 3, Orcs and Goblins. And just because I have a way to, basically chaff up his warriors, the unit, I'm going to go ahead and call out the Wog! I call out the Wog, and I charge the A-Rock beyond everybody into that unit over there. And the reason for that is I charge my Savages into his Lord's block, right? Because I could do that, I got a charge flank, big flank, banner, at least 2 ranks, and however many wounds I do, right? I'm already at 6 static combat res before the combat started, okay? He has banner, he won't have a rank, let's just be fair, right? So, I have a 5 victory up on him as long as he doesn't get a shit ton of wounds, okay? If I charge into him and he flees, let's say he flees like 6 or 7, he'll be able to rally, turn around, and I'm screwed, right? But if I charge the A-Rock like I did, get into the unit like I did, now he's going to bounce through the A-Rock, through his chariots, and off the table. So, I charged the A-Rock. I called out the Wog. I go ahead and I move the Troll. The Trolls charged the unit of Chosen that just ended up finishing off the K-Pack last round. And so the Trolls go that way. I move my General out because there's basically everybody's in combat at this point. I'm moving Koopa to a better position. I left Koopa a little bit far back because I'm still scared of those chariot charges. Koopa is a little bit more expensive than the A-Rock, obviously. We're going to go into Magic. Magic and get a 4 on the dice. On the Flux, go ahead and I do a Pyro Flow into his Wizard. I end up doing 1 wound onto the Wizard that way. I believe I'm trying to shoot the Wizard. I'm trying to do whatever I can magically to just hurt the Wizard. Wizard does have a 4-up, 4-up. Over here, as you can see the combat, the A-Rock ends up doing, it looks like 5 or 6 wounds, roughly. He ends up doing a shit ton, and I mean a shit ton of wounds onto the A-Rock. As you can see, this is the end of the combat right here. He ends up doing, I want to say it was like 5 or 6 wounds. She's stubborn. She's in the General's bubble, barely. That's why the General did move up, and I'm going to go ahead and hold my stubborn. He does have ranks, banners, and all that and such, but you know what? She did her job. She did exactly what I needed her to do. Over here, the Trolls are just decimating these Chosen. As the Chosen go ahead and they end up pulling off 2 Trolls, so 6 wounds. The Trolls just decimated the whole unit, and yeah, that's going to give me turn 3, Warriors of the Dark Gods. Warriors of the Dark Gods, turn 3. The Trolls are waiting for that charge from the Knight. The Night Bus comes up, boom, hits right into me. My Savages did, by the way, pop his General's unit. He ended up doing like 9 or 10 wounds, and I was like, holy shit, he did a lot of wounds. By the time he was doing stomps, I was like, I forgot about stomps, I forgot about the Juggernaut attacks. He did a shit ton of wounds. And what ended up happening was I still won combat by like 2, maybe 3. He failed his roll both times, and he did exactly what I said he was going to do. He ran through the A-Rock, ran through his unit, and fell off the table. For magic, he goes ahead and he rolls 6 on the flux cards. He goes ahead and gets spectral blades up on the unit against the trolls. I kind of had to let it go. At the same token, though, I was like, if he hits, right, obviously, but if he wounds on a 2-up anyway, so how many ones is he really going to roll? I'm just going to let him have the spectral blades. But at the same token, he does get 6s go through the regeneration, so I was like, ugh. I'm like, you know what, I got to let it go because I can't let him snipe my wizard or BSB. As for the combat, he goes ahead and he pulls off, I think he ends up pulling off 1 or 2 trolls. The troll, he pulls off 1 troll. I get 5 pukes back and I end up doing every wound. I end up killing off 5 guys, and he's like, shit, because that one guy that was killed off by a goblin bow earlier, now he doesn't have a rank. And he's like, son of a bitch. He ends up, I think he stays for that round. The combat was really close. He has a charge banner, X amount of wounds. He has a charge banner and 3 wounds. I have 5 wounds. It evens out. It's going to start off Orcs and Goblins turn 4, and I could already feel my voice from talking for 35 minutes. Orcs and Goblins turn 4. Orcs and Goblins turn 4. I go ahead and I just go for this big charge. I go for Koopa. I go for my Savage Orcs, and I go for my general into that unit of warriors. You could see his chariot did charge into the flank of the A-Rock. I think the A-Rock killed his other chariot, but he still has a chariot and his warriors there. What ended up happening is I rolled my general. My general gets in. He had the easiest roll. I want to say a 7 on the Orcs. I rolled a 6. And I needed like a 7 on Koopa, and I rolled like a 4. So they both failed the charge. My general's going in solo. The A-Rock is surviving with 1 wound. So no matter what, he's going to get 1 combat res from just killing the A-Rock, right? My general's going to have a charge, a flank, and however many wounds I could do. But he's still going to have banners. He's still going to be steadfast. This might be bad for my general. Magic ended up getting a 2 on the flux. Go ahead and I do a pyro, and I do a big pyro flow. I actually moved Baxter up as close as possible so I could just blast that motherfucker with 3d6. He lets it go because he tries to avoid the flaming swords or the rerolls in combat. So he lets me get his shot. He was hoping his ward and his armor saves his life, but I ended up rolling, I want to say like 12 on the pyro flow. Do all 12 hits. I end up getting another wound off. And then my Baxter bazooka with his shotgun, boom, shoots at him and ends up doing that 1 extra wound and killing him dead. All right, over here, the A-Rock goes ahead and is actually at the same initiative as most of them. She ends up eating a bunch of guys. My general ends up ramming into his champion. Now he did want to not challenge. He did, and I was like, it's smarter to challenge because my general doing the impact hits only onto his champion would negate how much damage I would do to this unit. But he was contemplating not doing that for, I forgot what reason. He had a reason, but I still gave him the champ. I was like, dude, just do the challenge. It's smarter. Anyways, my general rams into his champion. He ends up killing the A-Rock. My general is stuck in combat for a turn. Over here, he ends up killing off another troll, but my trolls puke, and he's down to 1 knight remaining. He does reform, like I said, over here into my general, and it's going to start off turn 4. Warriors of the Dark Gods. Warriors of the Dark Gods, turn 4. He's going to charge his chariot into my wizard. I flee. And what does he do here? I don't think he charges into my savages. I don't think so. I don't remember. I think he actually failed the roll. I don't even think I fled. I think it was just far enough where I was like, fuck it, go ahead and try it. Try your luck. He charges, he fails the roll. And basically my general stays in combat. My trolls end up finishing off the last unit. Turn 5, Orcs and Goblins. The A-Rock. Yeah, see, he failed the roll. Yeah, so the Koopa's fat ass will charge right into his chariot. He cannot flee from terror. As Koopa runs in, boom, right there. Koopa will eat that fucking chariot. overrun into his unit. Magic got 3 on the flux. Go ahead and I give Koopa flaming swords. Because why the fuck not? Koopa eats the chariot, runs right through, goes into this unit, and between Koopa and my general, I end up killing every single son of a bitch. It's the end of turn 5, and that is the end of the game. I don't even know if it's a 20-0. It could be like an 18-2 or a 19-1. I don't know. I didn't even add it up. But like I said, sorry. Like I said, it's been a long time to get this game off. I know it's like, ha ha ha, he's so rusty, but he gets 20-0. But you know what? There was just so many rules I questioned. There's so many tactics I wondered about, and I didn't feel like the me I expect out of me. You know what I mean? And that's like I said, I needed a actual game. I didn't need a UB game. I didn't need a Warhol game. Um, I haven't even checked out Warhol to be honest. And I know it's supposed to be better and whatever, but it's uh, I needed the muscle memory. I needed to feel the dice. I needed to feel my miniatures. I needed to remember what it was like to be into a passionate game, and I wasn't going to get that in UB. I was not going to get that in Universal Battle. I always played Universal Battle as a tool to practice, right? But my goal right now was not to practice. It was to go back to the fundamentals of what made me passionate about the game, you know. And people, by the way, this is the end of the game. If you guys want to just stop the video here, you can. But my feedback about playing is for the last 2 years, I've been getting message after message after message from a lot of my friends, a lot of people that I played games with, and all of you guys got the same response. No, I'm not ready. No, I don't want to play. Do you want to play a game? What game? T9A. No, don't want to play T9A. And the truth is, I just wasn't ready. There was no active tournament scene. There was no active community in Chicago to play against, unless I wanted to play Len. And even then, it was go out to the south side to do so. So it was I just wasn't ready, and it took me this time. I mean, granted, COVID happened and all these other things happened. I do feel lucky I didn't lose anybody close to me due to COVID, and I know some of you may have. And I do. I feel you. I did lose my dog during COVID, but I feel you, and at the same token, I needed that time to reset, and I know many of you might have felt this before. You get burned out, you do something for so long, you get burned out, and now you don't want to touch it. It's kind of like eating the same food every day. After so many days, you're like, ugh, I can never eat that again. I felt the same way. I played Dungeons and Dragons a lot, and I did enjoy that a lot. I DM'd my own game, as well as played in a game that was DM'd by Joseph Abel, as many of you guys have known from Team Mexico. And I did find it very fun. I do find it very fun. And and then I feel like I'm splitting my attention. And even after this game against Luke, I had the whole day to do whatever. I could have just recorded this video that day, but then I felt overloaded. I felt overloaded with expectations. I felt overloaded with what do I want to say. I felt overloaded with I got, a business to run, a European vacation to plan. I have to worry about my dad, who's right now in intensive care. I have, to record this video. I have, I have other obligations, and again, it feels like I was just overwhelmed. I had to take a step back and realize it's okay with doing a little bit of everything. I don't have to be, bam, 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 and knock everything out. You know what I mean? It's okay with doing a little bit of everything. And I feel like I know that I'm kind of like this video is kind of just me like, blah, but at the same time, it's a lot of you have been wondering what's been going on with me, and I'm just telling you right now. I have seen on the forums, things that you guys said throughout the last 2 years about ChiHammer. All you had to do is put the search function ChiHammer, and you see what people say. And I do know my buddy Hermanard misses me. He's the most that tags my name is Hermanard, and I do miss you, Hermanard, buddy. And and I do miss, and just for the record, because I don't know if it's even been said in other videos, I miss my friend Kaiser's Jose. He passed away last year or earlier this year, I think, and I just want to give out my respects to him. He's one of the people that I first met in Greece, and he was one of the first Europeans I met from this game, and he was so welcoming and such a big fan, and kind of sucks that we lost him. Anyways, guys, I am planning on getting another game in potentially this weekend against my brother. Again, it's the same thing. I just want to feel the dice. I want to get the wax on, wax off. I want to get, the rust off. And I even told the Juice crew, like, I heard the best way to get some rust off is using nickel. But and I told them, I'm not a science guy. I'm a meathead. So I don't even know if that makes sense or not. I don't know. And I don't care. Fuck you guys. All right, I'm out. Peace.